Welcome to the dark future. Welcome to Red Sky City. I'm tormented by gnomes. I'll be your game master today, and joining me, we've got Bren, we've got Seltzer, we've got Hello Kelly Link, and we have a special guest star today, Necra. Necra, how are ya?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I am really excited to be a part of the show, and I can't wait to, maybe throw a wrench into things.
You're gonna fit right in. Why don't you tell our viewers just a little bit about who are you, what's your thing, what do you do, where can they find you?
My name is Rosemary Kelly, otherwise known as Necra in the esports and gaming industry. I am a full-time commentator, host, and content creator, and I also do a little bit of VO work. But you can find me on Twitter at Necra Gaming, spelled Nekkra, and hopefully I'll see you all around in the next couple of shows.
Excellent. So if you are just joining us, you have a lot to catch up on. So I'm not going to do a full series recap. I should come up with an elevator pitch for that. But in our last episode, 3 out of 4 of the folks who are here today made it back to Night City after a dangerous adventure on the high seas of the Pacific Ocean in the middle of the Pacific Garbage Patch, chased by helicopters and automated mines and freakish cybernetically enhanced dolphins with robot arms. Against all odds, they managed to return to Night City with a mysterious object that they retrieved from the Hokuto Maru, a derelict ship that once belonged to a subdivision of Arasaka. The object that they retrieved is a 300-pound metal capsule labeled with the words Deep 4. There's a single access port on it that was physically locked when they retrieved it. Since then, our heroes have had the chance to make it all the way back to their hidden bunker underneath the combat zone. They've had, let's say, 2 days to rest, and under the medical auspices of Jerax, that means that anyone who's taken damage, including Jonah, can heal 4 times their body score in damage. So go ahead and heal that up right now. You have a chance to repair your armor if your armor's taken damage. And just to generally reconnect with the people of Night City, check in on everyone. The Monarch, having accomplished a lot of his personal goals, is taking some personal time to spend with his family, deal with the fact that Oro passed, get drunk at Booger's bar, shoot some new and interesting people in the face. You still have his contact information, but, he's off doing his own thing. Jim Fingers is busy putting into action his plan. I do this for a living, folks, to take over and restabilize the combat zone. After our heroes threw the combat zone at the heart of Night City into total disarray by killing off many important players in the scene. The Solo Royal, the Fixer Rex, Pagliacci, the leader of the Bozos, Babylon, the leader of the Red Chrome Legion. Jim is establishing an alliance of different booster gangs and power groups in order to contain the chaos of the combat zone and put himself up at the top. He's been meeting with the 6th Street Gang, he's been meeting with Double or Nothing and some other folks, so he is working on that project, but still sending you leads to help your hunt into the corporate conspiracy that has confounded you all. Why don't we quickly run through our heroes and just give us a chance to say, in your few days before we move on with our story, aside from resting and recovering, what would each of you be doing? Let us start with Jerax.
I think Jerax, when he got back immediately, he would... So there's like a couple of things on his mind. So he's had a pretty lucky string of events where he hasn't needed to conceal any objects. So he spent his time studying how to conceal and reveal objects to a certain degree. Don't know why he might do that. I mean, he's just got an inkling that something might come up where he needs to conceal something. But I think alongside that, he would have immediately put in a custom work order, because he knew it would take time, for a cane that could conceal his monofilament blade. If there would be any way to do that. I don't know, Joe, you tell me.
All right. While we move on to the rest of the party, I'm going to need you to Google the specs and parameters of your average katana, so we know like what the diameter of this thing would have to be.
Okay.
And then we'll figure it out from there. So that's your homework. Let's move on to Natalie. What is Natalie Smith up to now that you're back? You have a little bit of downtime to try to do something resembling normal life.
Well, as soon as we got off the ocean and got back to Seltzer, blowing up. I had so much work that I had missed. So I actually kind of had just had my head down at the office, just like grinding away, putting in as many hours as I could for what I had messed up, and as well as all my skill points that I've been earning. I'm just gonna fit those eventual upgrade to teamwork, so I can invest in Jonah. Really what I'm about now.
I respect that. I respect that. Jonah is pretty badly injured. You may recall that he threw the pin instead of a grenade and it blew up in his hand.
He did do that.
So if it's all right, he's going to take a couple of days of personal time. And by personal time, I mean he could float in Jerax's cryo tube, but honestly, Network 54 has good medical coverage for its bodyguard. So he's probably just going to rely on that to get healed back up to full, or at least something close to it. No, just like I said, double his body, 4 times his body score. What are some of the items at the top of Natalie's to-do list right now? What are some of the urgent fires she's working on putting out?
There was honestly something just kind of really catty going on with some of the lower management where they just kept submitting claims on each other, and so she just had to go through this whole Trello board and just let go of all the comments on there. That was just pettiness between them. She had some pitches that she had to put together. Definitely some stuff coming across her desk about some shows that she's personally really excited to start watching, and so she's kind of just been freelancing, putting together some marketing material in her spare time as she's inspired. And just a lot of emails and just clicking scene on a lot of stuff.
Control A, right click, mark as read. Yeah, it's your best friend. Last but not least, what is the Frizz up to?
Well, we were gone for a while, and apparently all of her students were a little mad because they pay for her courses and she hasn't been providing the daily courses as she does. And she was just going to call them all ungrateful brats and everything, but because she didn't want to give them all refunds, she likes the money that she gets, she decided to kind of win them all over by providing a new series of lessons focused on nautical hacking and net running. What a coincidence. So that's what she's doing right now. She's been probably releasing a few videos out there, informative, learning about speedboats, and maybe even some heavy machinery lessons in there as well.
I want to do something with if nautical net running is something you wish. Send out fake emails and then you can fish, but I'm still working on it. We're still in the development phase right now.
Keep us updated.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll hopefully by tomorrow I'll have a working model. I was gonna say I'm a little surprised that the Frizz isn't on the Patreon model where you pay for every batch of content instead of a monthly subscription fee. I suppose it is more lucrative that way.
I feel like this is more just what modern teachers are. I feel like the education system, at least outside of those Arasaka company houses, is probably very fragmented, and there isn't actually any kind of school system. And I don't know even does Patreon exist? The internet's not really there, so she's having to do something a little bit more nefarious as far as entering the dark web and providing this to people. So she's more of a pay me all right now and maybe you'll get your videos kind of deal. So that's what she's doing right now.
Yeah, you only get away with that crap if you're the best of the best, which fortunately,
Exactly.
you're up there.
I did stop a nuclear bomb.
That's true. That is a thing that happened and streamed it. All right. Now, after a few days of settling back in and getting a chance to recover, the team has turned their attention to the Deep 4 capsule that you've recovered. I want to bring a few things to your attention right now with regards to this object that you retrieved. The last words of the solo Royal, who was working on behalf of the conspiracy. You know a few of the companies involved in the conspiracy. You know they were trying to get AD, the Arasaka database, which turned out to be the Arasaka device, a thermonuclear weapon. You don't know which one they thought it was, or which one of those two they wanted, and you don't know what they wanted with it. You know a group of different corporations are working together, but outside of that one object that threw your lives into chaos and destroyed your original home, their motivations and objectives are largely hidden to you. All you know is there's a bunch of powerful corporations working together, and that they seem to have it out for you because you messed with their plans. The last words of Royal, who, as I said, was working for the conspiracy, was Deep 6. You've seen a D6 expense code appear on the budget statements of multiple companies, all involved in the conspiracy thus far. The capsule you recovered from the Hakuto Maru is labeled Deep 4. This ship has been out at sea for the last 22, 23 years or so. There's one other part of this that I'm not sure if the entire team is aware of, and this is something that only the Frizz would know about.
Ooh.
Deep 5.
We're not there yet. We haven't found the missing link.
Should I say right now?
Well, if you're aware of what it is, then it's up to you if you want to share that information with the team.
Oh gosh.
But yeah,
Um,
this is terminology that has come up in your past.
Okay. I think I know what it is. I'm not you. Yeah, you've gave me a lot to
Yeah,
read.
I ambushed you. I was reading your bio. That's totally fine. So, when you were first looking into Rocklin Augmentics,
Okay, see, that's what I was going to mention was Rocklin Augmentics, but I didn't
Mhm.
know if that was what it was actually
Yeah.
correct. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Yes, that there's definitely been some, relationships between Arasaka and Rocklin, and we need to figure out why. I don't necessarily know why that they are working together, but obviously Rocklin is a huge corporation, and Arasaka is something that's been banned for quite a while. So why are they working together?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
There was a contact whose code name was Deep, who was providing Rocklin Augmentics with Arasaka's cybernetic schematics and technology illegally, sending them this information. That code name of that contact is one of the last things that you discovered, Kelly, before the hammer came down on your family and everything went south.
Okay.
Now, all of that being said, attempts to crack into the Deep 4 capsule thus far have all failed. It's got multiple layers of incredibly sophisticated security. To the best of your knowledge, the outside of it is probably lead-lined. It resists internal scanning. It's resisting sonar. It's got its own proprietary operating system that is not compatible with anything that you've got on your side right now. And it's got fail-safe measures. Too many failed attempts to turn it on, unlock it, and just activate the damn thing will cause it to erase itself, possibly explode. We're not sure yet. So cracking into it is proving to be extremely difficult. However, you do have a couple of leads. Natalie, while you're at work in a meeting, you happen to oversee on Todd's desk. He has an invitation to an exclusive party that's being held in one of the Star Scrapers. The Star Scrapers are these mega buildings designed to completely house a workforce. It's, all in one, where you work, where you live, recreation, so on and so forth. There were a lot more of them before the bomb went off at the heart of Night City, but Rocklin Augmentics has a large portion of one of the few remaining Arcology Star Scrapers. There's an executive who's holding a party to celebrate the launch of a new line of Rocklin Augmentics technology. It is the Rock 2 signature frames. It's a skeletal reinforcement frame that allows for increased nerve transmission. It's designed to help fight things like Parkinson's, increase reactions and reflex, monitor bone health, and deal immediately with fractures. It's supposed to have medical applications, military applications, so on and so forth. This party is being held tomorrow. It's in the penthouse of one of the execs for Rocklin. It's got a very, very exclusive invite list. Now, this guy is the head of Counter-Intelligence for Rocklin Augmentics. And thanks to the Frizz, you happen to know that if anybody has access to these Deep 4 codes, it's him. Because
What did you say he did for Rocklin? I'm sorry.
he is the senior vice president of Counter-Intelligence. When people are spying on the company or people are selling company secrets, he's the one who drops the hammer on them. Just like he did to your family back in the day. Now, of particular note here, Jerax, is the fact that the technology that they're announcing is not unlike some of the tech that you stole in the UK a few years ago.
That's weird.
It had to do with bone matrices and nerve signal pathways, sort of allowing bones to do some of the work of nerves, which is supposed to overall increase efficiency and computing power and make cybernetics much more effective and reactive. It's not quite the same as the tech that you happened to get away with, but it's definitely along the same lines. The problem is you need invites, you need to find a way to get in, and if you're going to get in, you're going to need to blend in, because this is going to be an incredibly high society. Like, the movers and shakers of Night City are going to be here. You're almost certainly not going to be allowed to bring in weapons. And once you get in, you'll have a few options. You might be able to talk to somebody who will know the secrets of how to unlock the device. You might be able to steal the authenticator that you need in order to unlock the device. Or the original files that Kelly was digging through, that the Frizz was digging through back in the day, are going to be housed in this guy's private server. So you have some options. It's just a question of how you deal with it. And, of course, how you dress for it.
Well, Joseph, if you'll allow it, Natalie actually has this all figured out, and it was a series of happenstance spawning from why she brought up this party invite to Jerax and Miss Frizz to begin with.
Oh?
When she saw the invite and the mech suits coming out, I want to tell you, like you said, there's a ton of applications and military applications, but Natalie has been following the release of this suit primarily because it pairs so nicely with the release of the Silicon Husbando 800. And what you do is you actually affix the frame, put in some minor program, bam, instant husband. So there's a bit of an online fan club, offline sort of, as you do in Night City. She's got a fan group for these, and so when she sees the information, she rushes home to tell Jerax and Miss Frizz, because she has a fixation and she has to share it. But I'm pretty sure they've got the applications of going to this party, all the potential things that could come out of it. Fortunately, I also have a couple of local friends that are also really interested in the Husbando line of silicone husbands and wives, and wouldn't you know, one of my really good friends actually maintains like a full wardrobe of outfits for these things. They've got several of these silicone bodies and the older frames there, so if you'll allow it, I'd like to go over this friend's house and maybe just borrow some clothes and find out some things about the older models and, sneak into this party for my reasons and for, of course, the grand conspiracy reasons.
Oh, why always with the if you'll allow it? Okay, so you're gonna
I just want a
you're
friend
gonna go.
who has clothes.
That's fair. All right, so this friend has clothes, and the application that Rocklin came out with, it's a graph that goes onto a skeletal structure. So it would be, I'm going along with your idea, but it's more that it would form the core of a realistic synthoid, rather than that it would be like the exterior frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you could do sort of a Terminator thing with artificial flesh on top. I'm not going to think about that too much more, but yeah, that's definitely a thing that could happen. All right, now, if I'm understanding you correctly, this means that you can take care of wardrobe, but you'll be picking out what everyone's wearing.
Of course, yeah.
All right, and the members of this particular fan club, I have no idea what their fashion tastes are like. So why don't you describe for me what you're bringing back for the three of you?
Well, honestly, this fan club has kind of a really far reach, and the outfits you can get out of it, vary widely. There's, of course, classic superhero outfits. You can put them in all sorts of period pieces, and of course, modern fashions, that you would want to see your spouse in. So I don't want to go too crazy here, but I can't help but get something kind of a little on the fancy end of kind of what is considered modern fashion here. So I see a really nice, very tailored suit that it would absolutely fit Jerax, but it's got this great piping that I just think if he happened to pull his mono-katana, which he can't, because he can't even bring it in there, it really shouldn't be there. It would just, it's this neon green piping down the sleeves, on every sort of place where the stitching would be. And then just really big Kingdom Hearts style poofy pants. Just absolutely like social distance, just sort of, he's got like a classic genie bottle silhouette when he puts it on.
Uh-huh.
And then Miss Frizz, she's gonna hate me, but I saw it and it just screamed Miss Frizz. It is a skin tight latex suit. It is like a marbleized kind of shiny purple material, just whoosh. And then when you think you've got it on, no, there's an inflated ring that you can choose to turn on that just gives you like poof, huge muscles. Your choice.
Wait,
And I
what?
mean-
What's my choice?
I don't know if you want to inflate them. You can either be like in the skin tight purple latex suit, or you can go poof and you could be in like a Superman like muscle bodysuit. But this is what fashion is in Night City. I certainly haven't done a lot of shopping, but this is what I bring home to you.
Okay.
I have a dress that looks like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz in the 40s. It's terrible. It's a horrible fashion choice, and I'm very fixated on it.
All right. So Natalie comes back to the top secret bunker, incredibly excited with all of these, those what do you call the damn bags that you carry your things in so they don't wrinkle when you're going to the event? Those
Oh.
things.
Like a suit bag.
Garment bags, suit bags. Yeah.
Garment bag.
All right. And presents you with these outfits, assuring you that these are the very latest in Night City fashion. Now, there is a skill in this game called like grooming and dress or something along those lines, which, rest in peace, Oro
Wardrobe.
might have had. But
You don't have to wear these, but I'm very excited to present them to you.
I think Jags would be very excited. He'd be like, I mean, you said this is the latest fashion, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to fit right in. I mean, I've got this guy working on this cane as well for me. Like, this is perfect. I'm like, in Jax's head, he's putting together the perfect character. He is going to become the character to fit into this party. He's been watching a lot of Christian Bale films. There's one...
historical documentaries.
Yeah, this old historical documentary about, like, one of the first real looked up to businessmen, in high society. He murders a lot of people, but who doesn't in Night City? So it's like, yeah, I mean, he started this weird trend. Yeah. And he's been kind of trying to mimic that personality. He's been practicing his smile in the mirror. It's just this weird, creepy smile. And Jax sees the outfit and I love it. I love it. I mean, how did you know what I was thinking?
It just screamed your name. I saw it and you had to have it. So I'm so excited you love it. I think you're going to look great in it.
Yeah,
I also
just spent when you were going through the introductions, I've done a lot of research on sword canes. If you'd like to hear them, Joe.
By all means, please go ahead.
So typically, sword canes range roughly about, I'd say, 85 to 100 centimeters in length, and it just so happens that a katana, not made into a sword cane, stands at roughly 100 centimeters. Now, the sword canes of those proportions that are around like 80 to 100, typically they go longer depending on how tall you are. Now, Jerax is 6 foot, so he would require an 100 centimeter sword cane. So this is all coming together ever so slightly. Now, I don't know the exact like diameter of it, but I would definitely have gone to somebody with this project in mind. I probably would have asked Jim if he knew anybody who could come up with some bespoke cane, distinctive, but also definitely doesn't look like a monofilament blade, when it's inside.
As luck would have it, Jim recently made contact with somebody who does all sorts of machining projects. As long as you don't mind it being in primarily metals rather than wood, he happens to know just the guy for the job. It's a Jet Hunter. Yep. Normally does cars and the like, but pretty sure he can make an exception for this one.
I mean, he seems like a stand-up guy. I mean, I can't say no.
Perfect. All right, that's going to run you at least 500 eddies. You got it? Because here's the thing.
No problem.
Like, you can't just hide this thing, right? You're going to go through scanners. You're going to go through security. It's got to be able to stand up to some pretty serious scrutiny. So if you want the additional layering that's going to scramble incoming EM and sonar waves to give the appearance of solid material, it's going to run you.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Trust me. He's willing to part that money instantly. The amount of value he's going to get out of this cane now that you've given him this is unbelievable. Every exact, like, the acting skill is about to get so much legwork as well.
All right. Last thing before we really hit the ground running is how are you going to get in? Do you have a plan for getting in? The invite list is extremely exclusive.
Well, the invite list is probably digital in the world of Red Sky City. So if anyone can get anyone onto a list, it would be Miss Frizz.
That's true. You have a couple of options here because it's not like you have access to the central um, repository, right? They're going to be checking these invites against a database. But maybe you could get access to one of the invites and then work up a little, forgery of your own. That might be viable.
Maybe put just our names on the database. Maybe swap some names out. They don't need to go. They don't need to be there. We need to be there.
All right. So the database itself is likely going to be on site where the party is being held. So if you
So
want
then
to
I definitely think we should try that, but we should also have a plan B then. Because if we
Mhm.
get prepped and then go there and it doesn't work, that's going to be some wasted time.
Is there any way we could get the list beforehand and do some outside research into if there are any guests turning up that are particularly private that people wouldn't know the faces of?
The guest list is not public. The only invite you're aware of right now is in the hands of Todd. And it was almost certainly BCC'd to keep the identities of the other participants private.
Yeah.
Can I use human perception when I'm around Todd at some point during the work week to see how he would feel about, me owing him a favor and him putting us on the guest list? Or do I get the sense that Todd is like barely invited himself?
Well, roll human perception. We'll see what sense you get.
Let's see here.
Ooh.
Oh, you're muted, Joe.
1 IP.
Ooh.
Everyone gains 1 improvement point. I wasn't sure why it was blacked out there. Everyone should be able to see the main screen. With a 15 human perception, it's kind of hard to read Todd. He hasn't been the same ever since the accident. So he's a little tough to read. But you kind of get the impression he would definitely not want.
Oh, well then, I definitely want to make sure to hide my intentions that I'm trying to go at all.
Mhm.
And just knowing that he doesn't want me there, I kind of want to play it as like if I run into him, like, oh, they invited you? So I'm just filing that away now.
All right.
Thank you.
Note to self. What else you got?
I'm lost for ideas. I mean, the only thing I can think of is like some weird Ocean's 11 montage where we're breaking in beforehand to get into the database.
Maybe we could be like servants. Like maybe we could dress up as like the catering service.
But then I
We
don't
just
get
have to
use
kill
my
the catering
cane.
service.
Well,
Damn.
I was thinking we could kill some of the people attending, but then I think that would be us just killing powerful CEOs and trying to steal their identity.
We also shouldn't kill the catering service either. That doesn't seem fair. So plan A.
What if I don't know. What if we need to know who's attending and we could formulate a plan around that. Like we could make sure that their car breaks down in the air because they're probably traveling by air.
Can I do a database search to see if anyone is bragging about like attending this private party? Because although he himself is probably a little bit private, there's probably a few little fancy clout people out there that want to like, hey, look where I'm going. I'm celebrating with Arasaka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe we can threaten them to give us their tickets or something.
Who's
Yeah,
bragging on
That's not how that
social?
works, but
give me a library search. +20 +2 for your agent. Okay. Yeah, you've got a bead on somebody who's supposed to be there, a big petrochem executive. And you've learned from this that the invites allow you to bring a small entourage. So if you can get one, you might be able to make it.
okay. And maybe we like go in disguise. Like maybe we also put like masks on or something. That seems, I don't know. Isn't it risky for a bunch of people? Well, Miss Frizz is a little nervous showing her face there because she's literally been like kicked out and like they know her family kind of thing. So she's probably going to go in with some kind of like lizard-esque mask I don't know if it's that kind of like ball party or whatever they call those things. What
I
do they
mean, if
call
you're
them?
if
It's
you're
even better if it's not.
look, when rich people do weird stuff, it's called being eccentric, and it's fine. So,
There we go.
Oh.
so yeah,
Fun.
So
Billy.
if we, I was going to say, if we find one person, it's fine because they can bring an entourage.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe we befriend either this petrochem individual and say, like, hey, we can be your friends. You need an entourage. I don't know why he wouldn't already have one because he's clearly rich. But or who was
We-
it that contacted? What was that?
I was going to say, I think we should try and find someone who we can get in their way ever so slightly, I think, by making sure they don't get to the party, but also steal their invitation. And that way we can, I mean, it would have to be someone that no one else knew at a party, which, I mean, the odds of that are pretty slim, I think. I mean, it's hard.
Are there anyone that would want to screw over the other party guests by bringing subversives like us to the party?
Totally
Like
possible.
Sabriel, kind of.
Oh, okay. So you're saying we should talk to somebody who's going to the party, find out who they don't like, or snoop around for any rivalries, and then get information that way?
Yeah. Because if someone has an invite, there's probably like biometrics or something tied to that. Like that person's got to be there. They probably all know each other's faces. This is like if somebody kind of like stepped up and like
Well, they won't know the entourage's
party VIP or
faces.
something. True.
Hmm.
So we gotta slide in coattails, I think.
Todd? Would he be cool with it?
I get the sense he doesn't want me there.
Yeah. Well,
I'm actually lost. I don't know how I'm supposed to get into the party.
Well,
I don't know.
You have
I
one
feel like I'm
lead.
standing outside of like the Twitch party. Like I don't know. I texted.
that that Petro guy, that Petrochem guy.
Yeah,
is he
Billy
on-
Joe Brentwood. He's
Billy Joe Brentwood.
absolutely congenial, backslapping. He's in charge of Petrochem's Night City office. He loves to tell stories about going fishing out in, the Free Republic of Texas. The last
Is
one
it
that he
possi-
caught was just an absolute unit.
Ooh. Well, is it possible that he's out at a bar somewhere right now? Especially since it already looks like he likes to use social media and talk about things that he shouldn't talk about.
That is entirely possible. You could probably track him down to a bar somewhere in Night City.
I think that's a option that we have. If we befriend this gentleman, talk about how like cool we are and how like important we are as far as like Arasaka's like concerned, and maybe he'll invite us with him as an entourage to seem like he's with like some cool friends.
Does he have many friends? Maybe we find somebody who doesn't have any friends.
Yeah, he's
might not-
popular. He's got friends. He always he presents himself as this very big-spirited, easygoing sort of guy.
Okay.
So he's always making new friends, which could be handy.
Oh, in that case, I can put on my Monarch mask with my acting skill. I feel like I'd get along with Monarch.
Like what's that, dinner for chumps or something, where everyone's in contest of the weirdest person to dinner? Like, can we be those people? Can we be like a zoo
Well-
exhibit that he wants to take in?
He's currently in the Glen, which is not too far from where you are right now. And he's at a fancy bar called Atlantis. Club Atlantis. It's a glamorous, multi-level club. It's popular with execs. It's got flashy, avant-garde, very disorienting style. Lots of mirrored walls, moving staircases, cerulean underwater style lighting.
Oh,
Okay.
Miss Chris, would you be able to send him an email if we got you close enough? Because we could go to this club in our new digs looking super fancy, and then we could spoof an email to let him know that some very cool and exclusive people are at the club and that he should probably make our acquaintance because of how cool and exclusive we are. And with that hot tip from the email, it won't have come from us.
Let's see. Let's go to the bar and then try and just be cool and exclusive, because I feel like getting an email being like, hey, here's some cool and exclusive people might be a little on the nose. But if that doesn't work, then the email can be a backup plan.
It's true. It's true.
All right.
I usually
I'm
have to
just
tell
saying.
people I'm cool, so it's just a strategy that I've worked with.
if I went to a club and someone emailed me being like, "Hey, there's a dude in a blue shirt you befriend." Like, I don't know if I would trust it.
Don't worry, he's cool, he's solid, and he's cool. He's not cool.
Barely
But I think we
solid.
should definitely go to Glen though and wear our new digs because only high fashion people can get in there. I think.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Wouldn't we want to wear different clothes for the big party?
Oh.
Or would it not
It's gonna be very
matter?
Marge Simpson to like bring them home, like have them. Oh my
Well,
god.
I mean, the frizz is fine because all the frizz has to do is in one scene you don't activate the inflatable muscles, and in the other scene you do. It's like two different outfits.
I like
Do you have a
it.
sister?
Does she have really big arms? Like what?
Thank you, Ian.
That's it.
I was thinking of it more of the SpongeBob, big like beefy inflatable arms, but Michelin Man works as well. It'll help me hide my cyber deck, so I'm actually on board
Perfect.
with the
Perfect.
poofy arms.
Those inflatable Tyrannosaur costumes are considered high fashion. All right,
There we
so
go.
do you want to stroll into Club Atlantis?
Sure.
Yeah, we got that confidence.
All right. Slow-mo shot as everybody gets out of the car, walking up in their digs, the club music bumping, everyone going by, you know, hair flowing as the cameras go off. And
This is not it.
you walk into the bar, and the entryway is it's got these like scalloped mirrored walkway, and they've got light projectors giving that underwater, you're walking through the shark tube at the aquarium sort of look. You got a bouncer outside. And as you make your way into the first bar, it's a circular bar. They've got these moving staircases in two different sides, these like actual rippling staircases in either direction. And you see your boy, Billy Joe, sitting there at the bar in all of his finery. And he's got a posse of friends with him. They are all sitting away from him, not looking at him. He is not having a good time.
Oh,
He's looking
no.
extremely stressed. He has his hands gripped on a glass because there is somebody else at the bar with him. Somebody with some incredibly intense energy who is having a heated conversation of some kind. Necro, what does your character look like?
I am very vibrant. I definitely stand out from the crowd. I'm wearing this big, poofy, giant bow dress, and my hair is up in a high ponytail. I look like this. If that gives you any idea what I look like.
Perfect. Now, Zara, you know about this party. You have your own reasons for wanting to go to this party. You're on a similar tack as our friends who you've never met, of wanting to be attached to Billy Joe's entourage as you're in. But you have a different tactic because you know things about this guy that he would rather nobody else know about. I know we're making this all up on the spot, but do you have any ideas as to what awful secrets you're threatening to tell and reveal if he doesn't put you on his invite?
I know that Billy Joe is letting out a ton of toxic waste into the back ends of Night City. And I haven't told anybody yet, but I'm willing to sell the scoop in order to get on this invite list.
You know, that's probably why the Monarch grew up to be so weird.
Yeah, the toxic waste.
Just drinking from the same. Yeah, the toxic waste. Sure.
Not personal choice or nothing. No.
Hey, the Haywood Industrial Zone is nothing to sneeze at. All right, so as you enter the bar, team, you see this conversation going on. What?
I would go up to the bar and just start listening in, I suppose.
Mhm,
And I would also order a drink.
mhm. What'll you
I
have?
wanna-
I'll have an alcohol, please.
What?
I see you are a man of taste as well.
No, I would have. Jax is not a drinker, but he would have done his research beforehand, so he doesn't look like an idiot. And he's going to ask for. So he did a little bit too much research, and he's going to ask for an incredibly niche beverage, the Tootsie Pop Screw Roll. He's going to ask one of those, just as a little knowledge test for the bartender.
From
He's
the
just going to
secret
stand there.
menu.
Yeah, assuming that the bartender knows what he's talking about. He's going to get a little wink.
Nice. All right. Well, this is a high-end joint. They haven't been asked for one of those for a while, but they'll go ahead and work on it. You hear a cement mixer, a power drill, and the faint sounds of Bulgarian opera as they generate the precise conditions under which this drink must be
I thought it
purveyed.
was Romanian opera.
Yeah, well, that's what you get for what you read about online and what actually goes on in these clubs, not the same.
Oh.
What about the rest of you?
I want to go up to the friends and talk to them and just
Mhm.
be like, hey, big boys. I don't know why I'm talking like that. Nope, I'm not doing that. But just go up and say what's up. I'm not hitting on them. I'm just saying, hey, what's up?
All right. Okay, let's call that conversation as opposed to the alternative.
Hey, there we go. Very converse.
That was a library search.
Oh God. Oh, it didn't roll. Oh.
Unlucky.
Oh wait, there it is.
All right. It caught up. 17. Well, sometimes the classics work for a reason, you know what I mean? So they are trying to think of a good analogy for this. It's like if you're at the Twitch party and you went through a lot of trouble to get your friend in, and now your friend is making an idiot of themselves, but instead of like calling them out on it and trying to dig them out, they've sort of gone too far and you really regret being associated with them.
But your friend also has like 100,000 subscribers, so you can't say anything because you don't have as much clout as they do. So you just kind of have to sit and listen to it.
Yes, thank you. Perfect.
No, I totally understand what you mean. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna ask him like, hey, what's going on? There's so much drama. This party's for fun. Why is your friend so mad?
I've never seen him like this, or at least not since the Sovoil deal went south.
The what deal? And she like pulls out her agent.
Chew 2 production figures haven't been the same since the bioengineered plague came through a couple years ago, and Petrochem and Sovoil are always arguing over the distribution contracts, and there's a little bit of a back and forth, a little quid pro quo going on. That was pretty upsetting, but this lady, whew.
Yeah. Right? I mean, look at that bow. I mean, you gotta have a attitude to work with that kind of bow.
Hey, don't let her hear you shit-talking her. That's Zara. She will
No,
drive
I'm
your
giving her
career
a
into the
compliment,
ground.
man. You gotta be a badass to wear that.
Yeah. No, after the piece that she did on the Ziggurat execs.
So is this like a vibe that like they're in trouble? Like he's over there sitting with like the principal and like potentially.
Uh-oh.
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 That's exactly how you sit with
Trouble.
the principal, to be fair.
Oh?
How does it even happen? I'm here.
Oh, you're back.
Yay!
All
Yeah,
right.
it's not that he's been caught by the principal, it's that TMZ caught up with them, but they're not publishing anything. They're asking questions. I'll give folks a local expert check to see if you can ID this person.
$13.
13.
Ooh.
17. All right. So, what might they have heard about your character, Necra? What's the buzz out there for those in the know?
Well, I have a feeling Natalie Smith might know me pretty well, actually. Given that I have a rich history of selling stories to the network to, make some petty cash along the way and get the scum out of the gutters.
Her name has
So-
come up several times in the news column. She does a lot of investigative reporting, exposés and the like.
So I would imagine as we walked in the door and like Jerax kind of went to the bar and did the normal thing and Miss Frizz walked over to this group, Natalie like threw her arm in front of Jonah and she was like, "Oh my god. Jonah Zara is here!" And just like Natalie's awkward, right? But she's excited. So she's going to kind of like walk up to this like very serious quiet two-person conversation at the bar and just be like to Billy Joe like, "I'm so sorry. Zara? Oh my god, I just have to say, I loved what you sold us for that great story on what's it about the kibble and how nutritious it was for starving families. I have to say, I read all of your articles, all your submissions, and I even follow your secret blog."
So, in this situation, I feel like Zara would be the type of person that would not take this too kindly, in fact. Don't like the idea
This is
that
very
Natalie
Twitch party.
just came in and interrupted my very private conversation with this exec. So, at this point, I turn to her, I just go, "Do you mind?"
Oh my god, she said, "Do you mind to me, Jonah?" I'm so sorry. If you want to talk later, I'll be over there. Actually, can I get you a drink? And can I get... Oh, and I realize it's like Billy Joe, and I'm like, "Oh, can I get you a drink? What if you guys like a drink? Would you guys like something to drink? Can I get you anything?" I'm so sorry to interrupt.
You could get out of my way right now.
You see like a single tear run down Natalie's cheek, and she's like, "Yeah." And then she's gonna kind of like do that awkward, like, doesn't know where to go at a party, so she just kind of like moves next to Mrs. Frizz and like stands there.
All right. Jonah, her hulking bodyguard, gives Zara this very, "You made her cry. Look," and then walks off to hang out with her. You can see Billy Joe as Natalie walks off, is almost looking at her like a lifeline slipping through his hands, just moments away from, oh my god, that was a possible out. He's distracted from the vice that you had him in there for a moment.
I steal that vice right back. I just get straight down to business with him. I can see him looking Natalie's direction, but I slap him in the face. "You're paying attention to me right now. We gotta talk about this party that's coming up, and I'm gonna be on that list."
Look, lady, I can put you on the list. I can get you in. I can bring you in, but everyone's gonna know who you are. There's no way you're gonna get past security. They're gonna have you flagged from the very moment that you get in there. The last thing they want is a media on the premises. It's not me, promise. I'll do what you're asking here. All right, you're being entirely reasonable, but there's just gonna be some other obstacles. Like, Liam is not a man to trifle with. You get me?
Oh, just get me on that list. The rest doesn't matter.
Security bots, bodyguards, automated cameras, none of that. Not a big deal. Not ringing a bell here.
Then you clearly don't know what I'm capable of.
I think I'll take that drink.
By the way, I think when Zara slaps him, I don't know if anybody can slap anybody in a bar and not have the whole rest of the bar be like,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I will allow perception checks from the entire group. Nice. Nice. Okay.
Ooh.
Some of you definitely overheard what he was saying just now.
Would I have overheard?
You got bits and pieces of it. Go on. Go on.
Did somebody say security bots? And that's my cue as Jax Ashwater steps into the conversation. I remember working on those models. Version 6 back in the day in 22. Those were the days. Wait, we're in the year 2020. Never mind. That's
45.
2077. 40, we're in 45. Okay, 22 does work. I remember that back in 22. Yes, I mean, the boys down at R&D had a tough time with version 5. You know, all those, mysterious issues that they had when they were testing it back in Australia. But I'm telling you, what's progress without a bit of sacrifice, eh?
Here, here. She holds up her drink and takes a swig.
I don't know if I quite know what to do with this situation now. We've got this new character coming into the fold of the conversation, but my interest is piqued a little bit now. I now feel like this group of people might be able to help me. Whether I like them or not, because I definitely didn't like Natalie. Whether I like them or not, I think that this is the right group of people for me to pull into the conversation now. And Jarek specifically, I think, is the one that I look at, and I can maybe tell there's something not quite right about what he's saying, but I do appreciate that he's come over now and entered into the conversation.
And I would introduce myself and I say, my name is Patrick Bateman. Not my hand.
Well,
You're lucky the monarch isn't here.
I love this. I think here now I'm now interested with Jarex. I've got some business with him. I excuse myself from this exec, and I turn to Jarex, and I decide to ask, come talk with me for a second.
Yes, of course, yes.
So we go over to a different part of the bar, and now I'm turning on the social aspect of aspect a little bit up a notch here. I say, what do you know about these security bots? How can I get past these?
Well, we worked in the back in, like I said, 22. I was with that company for a good few years now. But you're having problems with some of these security bots? I heard that there was some party you're trying to get past. I remember back in my heyday, I'm telling you, I was getting into all sorts of business, nasty little events that the corps I shouldn't really call them corpos, it's a bit of a derogatory term. And after all, they do pay the bills per se. But I know a thing or two about them. I've, whole team kind of out of that business these days. They'll kind of work more on the freelance market. If you do need summer services, make sure to give us a call.
I think I have a proposition for you.
Oh.
There's this party that I need to get into, and I have an in now with this petrochem exec.
Please don't hurt me, miss.
Oh, the party
I
with
want you
Liam.
I think that party. I have some business with him that I want to check out, and I think you all might be the right people to get me into this party.
That's
What do you
brilliant
say?
news. I like the cut of your jib. I'm telling you now, because that Liam bloke, I tell you, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. I've been trying to get into his little dig, his little exclusive thing. He thinks just because, I left the company a couple of years ago that I'm not invited anymore. But that is just, preposterous. The entirety of Nice City is they all use my technology. The fact that he wouldn't even give me an invite. So if I could come along, bring my team, we accompany you alongside your invite, I'm sure the security won't be a problem.
I like the sound of that. You hear that? Oh, Billy Joe, you're getting these guys in too.
He looks at the lot of them, sort of, he goes between, Jerax, who's somehow still talking, Natalie, who looks distraught and is being consoled by this just absolutely massive shouldered, man. And then the Frizz is just... He starts counting all of them.
Oh, Billy! Oh, sorry, you don't know me. Patrick Bateman. Of course. And I'm going to hand him an off-white cream crisp business card. Just,
All right.
clean around the edges that I've prepped beforehand.
Oh, actual cardstock. Imagine that.
Yes.
I like that. The classics never go out of style.
Traditional, exactly what I was saying. You know, it appears that your acquaintances, and I don't want to delve into it too much, but I feel like we could all help each other a little bit here. And we're just going to be accompanying you on your little trip. I know you got that party kicking off with Liam, and I tell you, he owes me a couple of favors. And don't worry, I'm not going to get into too much trouble, but I really do appreciate you letting me tag along with a lot of my crew as well. There's a few of us in total, but I'm sure it shouldn't be a problem.
He looks from the lot of you to all of his friends who are gathered around, none of whom will be going to this party anymore, all of whom were very excited to go to this party. He's conflicted. He looks at them. He looks at the group. He looks at Zara. His face goes a little bit ashen, and he says, well, I guess that's that. Just, don't embarrass me too much in front of the big kids, right?
Oh, not a problem. I mean, I was changing their diapers, I tell you. I mean, it's these guys, they think they run the town. I tell you, I know who runs the bloody town. It's not them. It's not, I mean, it was me, but it's not anymore.
Jax, roll an acting check.
Oh my god.
Simply because the age difference. Oh my god.
Ooh.
Let's go.
And he channels the very ghost of Tiberius Wanderstave, rambling ancient man, infused with his own the ashes of his own legacy.
No, and I'm in the character now. I'm like in the character.
Yeah,
So
no,
I mean, do you like Huey Lewis in the news? I'm just gonna start chewing his ear off about it.
You see the face of a powerful executive who is now powerless, trapped in a pointless conversation. This is hell. This is truly hell.
Does he offer you a
All right,
drink
well.
ticket?
Oh, this party doesn't even do drink tickets. This is one of those, they walk around with a tray and you just grab it. Would you like some pureed filet mignon with a crumpling of gold flakes on top? We have that. All right. The lot of you are going to be free to take his AV to the party. Is there any last minute prep that you would want to do beforehand? We'll just give you like a scene if you need to scatter and then meet up again later, right? You're not going to go straight from here to there. He's thoroughly cowed by Zara's blackmail. Zara has enlisted the assistance of our team of experts, and you have a chance to make any preparations that you'd like. Is there anything you'd like to bring or prepare aside from your brand new shiny sword cane?
Sword cane. I'd also... I was just going to say, I'd also fill in Miss Frizz with what we need to do.
Yeah. With that being said, can I wear my body weight suit underneath this relatively tight but also poofy outfit that I'm wearing?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay. Because
Yes.
I definitely need to wear my cyber deck if we're going to go
Mhm.
in here and hack some systems.
This is going to be a factor, by the way. Zara, you already live a high fashion life. You've managed to integrate some armor material into your everyday wear. The rest of you, however, don't normally go around dressed like this. So you don't have high fashion armor. Jerax, you have the benefit of your subdermal plating that you had installed as part of a corporate favor earlier on. So you're going to go into this with armor value of 7. But Natalie, and also Jonah. Jonah wears an armored, suit. But Natalie, your costume does not have armor integrated into it.
No, but I would like to think that Jonah would show some concern here. This would be one of those moments he's actually really excited about stepping up and maybe sharing some advice with me, his superior, and he's saying, Miss, you might want to consider reinforced formal wear.
All right.
And are there any sort of like things that I could buy with my, I think I got like 800 eddies or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Can I come in here and make a peace offering?
I'm making
don't
like
think-
a chihuahua every time you come near me.
I
go
think
around
I have
Jonah like a
unfinished
little-
business here. I think I have unfinished business with Natalie. I recognize, despite my nature that I have of being a little bit rebellious and obviously being very much straight to the point, I realize I probably made her upset. So I before we leave the bar, I go
Mhm.
over to Natalie and I say, you know what, I'll take that drink now. Um, and we sit down and we get a chance to talk. And at a certain point, I almost rudely state to her, "You don't look like you belong here."
Yeah, I am wearing a Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz like apron and gingham dress, and I'm like, whatever do you mean?
And so at this point, I think everyone else can pass, but Natalie. Natalie, let me make it up to you a little bit here. I realize I didn't get a chance to talk to you the way that I probably would have wanted to. I'm gonna let you borrow something from my place for this party tonight.
This honestly actually somehow terrifies Natalie more because she's used to abuse from CEOs and higher up in the corporate world. She's definitely not nice, like used to like the yo-yo between like nice and abuse. So she's like, what? Yes, miss, whatever you say.
I definitely see myself saying it more of like it, not like a peace offering, but more of like a "you're gonna wear something of mine."
This is happening now.
Whatever
Yep.
you want.
All right, what do you pick out for her?
I pick out this leather jacket combo with these so it's a leather jacket, and you also wear this bright blue bodysuit underneath it with a bit of a big I like the skirt you're wearing, so I give you a big poofy skirt to go with it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Almost like a tutu, but not quite.
He's like super like was this 90s grunge like tutu skirt and
Ooh,
Yeah.
into
okay.
it.
Wearing jeans underneath your dress kind of vibe. I like it.
Does my bodysuit also become a muscle suit?
I don't give you that option, but it does have some body armor in it.
Dope.
Perfect. All right. So that's going to give you an armor value of 7.
Yes.
While you wear this, I'm going to leave it to the two of you to name this accoutrement. But yeah.
Before we head out, and
Mhm.
since I had access to the invite that Billy had,
Mhm.
did I notice anywhere on there that said like no photography, no camera work, like anything along that level?
Yeah. No media, no photography, no camera, no social media posts, no weapons.
So they probably wouldn't like me having a cyber deck.
Probably not. No. They would assume that you're going to hack the place. You also have a
Yeah.
good feeling about this, that this guy, Liam, he's going to have not only black ice in his network, but he's probably got a dedicated, he's having all these people in his private sanctum. He's got a netrunner on staff.
I'm like obviously keep going with the game, but I'm just gonna look at my options that I have for my cyber deck. I know
Mhm.
that there isn't really like any cloaking opportunities, but I'm just gonna see what they have, and I'll come back to you and see if like we can work something out on how I'm gonna like keep it hidden.
Well, we do have somebody in the party who recently took some ranks in conceal reveal object who might be able to give you some pointers. Let's go ahead and go to a break, and when we rejoin our heroes, we'll have you in the luxury AV, awkwardly riding with Billy Joel, sipping on champagne and getting ready to go to the fancy party. So stay tuned. We will be back in just a few minutes.